Hello, everyone. It's time for some cozy mini reviews, and we're going to talk about Exostar by Ray Knightley. This is an indie middle grade sci fi book starring our main character of Trinket, who is either an android with human emotions implemented into her or a human with cybernetic enhancements. She doesn't know. Her maker is gone, and all she has is a little AI assistant named Empty. And she is basically just trying to make it through living on this planet where there's a lot of scandal and gangs and violence happening. And she kind of both not really lives at this orphanage, but definitely takes care of some of the kids there, especially one little boy in particular. And so she sells this very, very fancy flower, and lo and behold, this flower is something very special and pivotal to the book. I won't spoil it for you. We also have another POV who I suddenly can't remember the name of, but he is known as like a number one terrorist, but he's secretly a few other things and kind of develops a little relationship. Thank you. A little relationship with Trinket in the same sense that we have like The Last of Us or Stranger Things. We have this kind of doesn't want to be the father figure, but ends up not father figure because I think there's more building for the rest of the series. But it definitely leads the reader to that assumption that there's going to be a father-daughter relationship between these guys. And it's very cute. I did feel like the book was a little bit disorganized in terms of the POVs. I would have liked it a little more if we had stayed with Trinket. But in terms of a lot of fun moments, a lot of very exciting dashing through the streets trying to evade the evil AI cops, not AI cops, but they're like alien cops. There's definitely a lot of other threats going on, a lot of strings being pulled, but because this is a middle grade novel, I did feel like it was a bit too much for a middle grade audience in terms of like all the different plot threads that were happening, which is why I feel like if we had just stuck with Trinket and her kind of figuring out where she came from, what she is, and why she's so important to these aliens and these other people around the universe, I think that would have been a little bit better in terms. Now, granted, I may have missed a few things because it took me so long to read this book. I notoriously am terrible at reading ebooks. I will pick them up and then I will set them down for days on end and I just lose things. And it's also been a hot second since I've read it, but definitely needed to do this review for you all. So I'm going off of the vibes of what I can remember. There is a cliffhanger ending. And I do wish that there had been a little bit more in the development of the relationship between Trinket and the little boy that she claims to care for at this orphanage. I do feel like that came a little bit out of the blue. And then the grand escape to escape this base city that's being attacked, and just not really getting to live in what was going on there. And Trinket spends a lot of the time just kind of waiting for Mr. Terrorist guy, who's not a terrorist, to get back. She does have a bit of a reunion with the lady who runs the orphanage, who is a garbage person. But yeah, I definitely think it's very fun. There might be more development going on with the rest of the series. I know there's a couple more books in it. I think it might be a trilogy or a quadrilogy. I'll put the answer right here. But I remember looking it up like a week or so ago, whenever I finished this book. Been a hot second since I read it. I procrastinate on these sometimes. But overall, if you're looking for a middle grade sci-fi, I would still recommend it for like a YA audience, just in terms of the complicatedness, or a middle grade reader who has a much higher reading level, at least reading comprehension level. I don't know necessarily if a true like 9-10-year-old would grasp all of the threads going on in this story, because even me as an adult had a little trouble figuring that out. So a higher reading level middle grader or YA, would probably suit this middle grade sci-fi novel. Check it out if it does sound like something very interesting to you. I definitely loved the comedic rapport between Trinket and Empty. That was kind of the highlight of the whole book. I thought that was very fun. Trinket's a very resourceful character. So that's why I really want her to be more of the main focus, because she is so interesting as a character. We don't get the answers we necessarily were set up with in the beginning, but I'm assuming that happens through the rest of the series. So yeah, that is it for Exostar by Ray Knightley. Did you have an opinion? Did you want to say anything? Okay, thank you for your time, sir.